Good morning, everyone. It is Star Diamond Coach Amanda Noddings, and today we are going to do Social Media 101. So hopefully you can all see my screen. I've got my PowerPoint up here so you can take a look at the slides as I am talking to you about them, and I'm going to try and run through for you the basic bullet points for kind of Social Media 101 and how you present yourself to the world as a Beachbody coach and as someone who has big goals and big dreams, and someone who wants to build a business, and how to market yourself in that way that's most effective and that helps you identify what it is that you need to do to really break down who you are and as a brand in order to get success. So thank you all for joining me, and I will progress on here. And it doesn't matter which branch you're in of all of these. You see Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and all these different things. They're all available to you, but either way, you have to know who you are in order to talk to people. So this is how we're going to go through it. So let's get right into the meat of things. If I can figure out how to change slides for you. All right, step one is to brand yourself. So I really think that you need to think about, what do you want people to know about you? And in order to do that, you need to think about your life and what areas you want to kind of pull back the curtain and open up to people and let them see behind the scenes and into your real life, because this is about you. It's attraction marketing, and it's about knowing who you are and what you have to offer. So a good step here is to think about your 3 to 5 passions, right? So what are the 3 to 5 things you are most passionate about that really define who you are? And those are the things that you're going to post about. So for me, I love to cook, and I love to take recipes that aren't so healthy and turn them into healthier versions. So that's one of my passions. And another thing I like to do is spend time with my children. I love them more than life itself, and they are my biggest passion. So there's a lot about my kids on my page. And it doesn't have to be that way just because you're a parent. It just is for me. Another passion of mine is being outside and enjoying the peace of nature. And I don't get to do it as much as I like, but I sure like to talk about it because I miss it. Another passion of mine is my work in healthcare and giving service to other people. I love to help other people, and I love to really think about the gifts I get every day from working with my patients. And so I try and post about that in a way that I can, although I'm limited in that area because of HIPAA laws and patient protection. So sometimes you see that, and being positive and overcoming depression is a huge part of my life. The place I used to live, the space I was in was not a good one. It was a dark one, and it was so hard, especially after losing my son, Michael. And I got into this ugly, sad, lonely place. And when I started to come out of that place and reach out to people about it, and just post about it, I found out that a lot more people struggle with depression than I ever thought. And it's something an unspoken thing that people don't talk about. And it's important to me to contribute to other people by helping them find their way out of that and look at the positive side of life. And so that's one of my passions. So you see a lot of that on there. When you find these 3 to 5 passions that you have, you will find that you stop being that Beachbody robot that just wants to post pictures of T25 and Shaun T and say, join me, text me if you want to order this, etc. It doesn't have to be that way. And in fact, it shouldn't be that way. Your name shouldn't be Amanda Beachbody Noddings. My name is Amanda Trudeau Noddings. Trudeau is my maiden name. And that's in there so people can find me easily if they knew me before I was married, or to help them identify who I was. So that they're like, oh, I remember her. But it's never going to be Amanda Beachbody Noddings, because that's part of what I do. That's not who I am, right? So once you have those 3 to 5 things, I really recommend you put them on a Post-it note right on your computer screen, or in a note in your phone section, note section of your phone, and look at that. And then when you're posting, you can think, is this one of those areas? And it doesn't only have to be those things, but if you're trying to think of what you're sharing today and you can think of something, go look at that and remember who you are. when you go to your page and look through the last 5 to 10 posts, it should be easily, a lot of those are falling in that category, whether it's your Instagram or your Facebook account. And you can see that what's important to you, and those things are falling into those categories in some way, shape, or form, which gives people a good idea of who you are. So that's your brand. You have to brand yourself and know that those are the kind of things people are going to find when they come find you. And that's okay if it's not the same as another coach, or if it's totally different from what you've seen other people doing. That's what makes you unique, and that is even better. So let's move on to the next point I was going to talk about. And I really think this will help you prevent that, like, what do I post about feeling? Because you're just posting about yourself and sharing about yourself. And if you know what those things are, you will have branded yourself into some, there are people whose priorities and goals are way different than mine. And that's what you're going to find on their page. It just won't be on mine. And that's fine. And if you don't like cute, adorable children, or looking at finding the humor in things that maybe aren't so funny, then maybe my page isn't for you, and that's okay, right? So let's move on to knowing your ideal customer. So I went to Google and just found this image of this mom. And this is my ideal customer. And I think that a great exercise is to take a piece of paper and write down who your ideal customer is. So this is my customer. Her name is Rachel. She's a busy mom. She works in the medical field, maybe she's a nurse or a CNA. Maybe she's works in social work. Maybe she works in a medical office. And she is tired because she's busy and going all the time. She loves the outdoors, and she fiercely loves her children. She would do anything for them. She either lives in a good neighborhood or she wants to, because she wants the best for her family, and she likes nice things. She needs a vacation. She loves her husband, and she loves coffee because she's tired, right? So this is my ideal customer. Ironically, most of those things can describe me. Isn't that interesting? So when you're looking for people, you're looking for someone like you. But this person is someone I could relate to. If she works in a dentist's office, if she deals with customers on a regular basis, if she has kids that she loves no matter what, if she is striving for a better life and wants the nicer things, but maybe can't afford them now, but isn't afraid to work for them. Those are all things that I can relate to and that I've either been through or embody or am part of. So this is my ideal customer. When you think about them, you need to think about, like, who's the person that, like, when you get an email or a text or phone call from them and they're in one of your customers, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. What did she say? I can't wait to hear from her. I wonder how she did today. That's your ideal customer. The one you're excited to help, that's your ideal customer. And when you think about it, you can get as specific as you possibly can. Many coaches get even more specific: how they dress, what age they are, where their job is exactly. These are just things to help you really fine tune who you're looking for. And then when you're deciding to post, you are going to talk to that person. So when you're like thinking of what you're going to say today, you're not talking to the world in general. And I think a lot of times what we do as coaches is we try and think, how can I make this post appeal to all 1,000 of my friends on my friend list? Or how can I get 5,000 new likes on Instagram because so many people love this post? And that's not really what your goal is, in my opinion. What you want is that ideal person to really be spoken to, right? You want to address their fears and their anxieties. What is it that keeps them up at night? What keeps them from sleeping? What are they stressed out about? What would they find helpful? What's a life hack that might help them? What's something that you could do to make their life better? What is something that's a goal of theirs that you might be able to help them reach? That's how you figure out what to say. And you're not talking to all 100 people that you went to high school with that are on your friends list and you want each one of them to buy a challenge pack or a workout program from you. You are talking to the person that you think that you could help the most. And then you will find those people, and your life will become easier that way. So remember to really touch the heart of the person that you're speaking to and really fine tune it towards that ideal customer. Because if I'm speaking to 24-year-old single party girls who love the nightlife and don't have any kids, and uh, they don't have, they live in an apartment, they like to go out on Friday and Saturday. I mean, that might be someone I used to be when at a different part of my life, but it's not who I am now. And that doesn't mean that I can't connect with that person or help them. It just means that we probably connect in one of these other areas. So this way I'm finding people that are more in my niche. So that's my best advice on knowing your ideal customer and focusing on that. So I'm going to turn my notes here so I don't get too off. I really, really, really strongly recommend the book Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's an excellent book. It's by Gary Vaynerchuk. I have it in hard copy actually twice, and I love it. It will really break down for you different social media strategies, no matter which platform you tend to use, and it will explain to you exactly what this theory is. So jab, 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 right hook is like, boom, 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 right? Like, here's something you might like. Here's something you might like. Here's a recipe. Here's a tip. Here's some advice. And then boom, here's the offer I have that might help you. So you're not spewing offers all the time, right and left, and just constantly going at people with the same stuff all the time. You are really offering value and keeping the actual inviting part behind the scenes, or else more rare. Not every other day are you posting an invite to your challenge group in that kind of way. You can sprinkle it in, but you shouldn't be the only thing I see when I go to your page, and which, if you're following those other things and made your list of your 5 things, it shouldn't be that way, right? Your passions. So this quote on here from Zig Ziglar says, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. And that's really the mentality of a Beachbody coach, because we're here to help other people achieve their goals, whether it's fitness, business, financial, health related. We're here to help them on their journey and what they're working on. And if you focus on that and offering value, aka the 80-20 rule, so 80% of what you're doing is offering value, whether that's a joke or humor. It doesn't have to be like a coupon or a free thing. That's not what adding value means. It means like value, value, value offer. So sharing versus selling. So you really want to experience it with your customers. Like Brendon Burchard says in his podcast, if you think about if somebody paid you $1,000 this morning to post a motivational quote that would speak to your ideal customer, right? Not everyone, but your ideal customer, I bet you'd come up with a really good one, right? If I said to you, I'm going to give you $1,000 and I want to see the most awesome, inspiring, motivational quote today that's really going to touch the hearts of insert ideal customer, I bet you'd come up with a good one. If I said, I'm going to give you $1,000 for an awesome picture of dinner today that really gives someone a tip on why it would be good for them and what they could do, I think that you'd be able to do that. So think about it that way. This is $1,000 post. This is going to help people. This is worth $1,000. This is valuable. And if you really start to value yourself, your self-belief will go up, and that will benefit you too in the long run. So value, 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 offer, jab, 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 right hook, right? And then, I want to talk to you a little bit about crafting your story. If I can move this along. So share your own story. So here's an example of when I finished Insanity Max 30. And I posted this post. And it says, I'm super proud today that I completed all 60 days of Insanity Max 30. This program taught me so much about myself in ways other programs haven't. This time, I didn't lose any weight. I actually gained 2 pounds. This time, I did the craziest workouts that I've ever done in a half hour's time. This time, I didn't see definition in the places I was looking for it. But this time, I saw awesome changes in areas that I thought were done changing. Because I didn't think my abs were going to improve anymore. And I feel like in the bottom right here, you can see that they did. Excuse me. Bless me. Salud. Coming down with a cold. Apologize. So this time I learned even more so how big a role a nutrition plays in my results, and I'm excited to move forward with my new knowledge. So it goes on, but here's the point. I'm being honest with people, and I'm knowing my own story, and I'm sharing that. I didn't get out there and say, this is the best program in the world and nothing's wrong with it, and I did it perfect, and I lost 15 more pounds. You can only do that so many times. Sometimes your takeaways aren't pounds. Obviously, I gained 2 pounds. But I shared it, and I still chronicled my journey, and I worked my way through a program, day 1 to day 60. And if you aren't working your way through a program all the way through, you should. Because not only will it get you in the habit of being diligent and talk about something to post about, you can talk about your progress through that a couple times a week, update people on how you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a sweaty selfie or some food you make. That'll keep you on track. And being a product of the product is one of the most valuable things that you can do. And if you're actually following this program, any program, you will get some sort of results, whether they're mental, emotional, physical, or otherwise, you will get results. My kids are making loud noises. I'm a little nervous. What's going on up there? So when you are able to share your own story and not someone else's, you're going to speak to people more. And they're going to be more believable and interested in what you have to say. I think that it's important to think of who the person you were a year ago or 3 months ago or 10 years ago needed to hear and talk to. Like if you say, oh, I wish I would have met this person a year ago. I wish I would have known this a year ago. I wish I would have done this a year ago. That's the person you should be speaking to. And think about what would have helped you then. So be the person that you could have used a few steps back in the road, right? Think about like the Kardashians. What do they have to offer? I mean, besides like fashion and drama and butts. But everyone's in love with the Kardashians. They love to follow them because they love their story and they're learning their story. American Idol, The Bachelor. I mean, I don't watch The Bachelor anyway, but if I did, I don't watch it for intellect and all I'm going to learn and gain from that show. For God's sake, that's not coming out of The Bachelor, but you fall in love with the guy and the girl and their stories. And that's what makes you tune in every week or record it or make it a priority to watch it. So think about that. People love a good story, and people love learning your story. And there's nothing wrong with telling it because that's what's going to reach people. And if you're sharing what little things you've learned and valued and come up with along the way, then you're going to inspire people and you're going to help people and they're going to fall in love with your story. I think of 50 people in my newsfeed that I love to see what's going on with them because I'm like, oh, I wonder what she's doing now. I have a friend who coaches softball that I love to follow her like team and what she's doing with these little girls and getting them farther on the road. And she's always doing fun stuff with her husband, and I just love that. So I like to follow her page, and I think that a lot of us have people like that in our lives. I have like Patty's date nights. Patty on our team, she goes on dates with her husband, and they have a great relationship. And I love to read the little things that they're doing or the things they talk about. It makes me go, oh, that's cute. I should spend more time talking to Daryl. So I just like that stuff. And there are people that you follow for that reason, and people will follow you for that reason if you're sharing and being authentic to who you really are. So what have you done? What are you doing? Talk about the not so pretty stuff. Like in this post, I talked about even maybe the stuff that I was hoping for that I didn't get. But I see my face slim down a little. I see my abs slim down a little. And each program is different. What's the matter, honey? What is he doing? Sorry. Okay, I'll be done just a few moments and I'll come help you. Darn that beast mode. Okay. So remember that and just craft your own story and share honestly and with integrity as you go along. So when you're sharing your story, here's like a little formula you can use. This is a post I did that got a lot of likes because people didn't probably expect it, and it's me on the same day in the same outfit. But leaning forward one more inch, you can see quite a difference in my abs. So one picture might make me look more flattering, while one picture is more realistic. And I have to say, tea? Is it time for tea? Go have tea, Olivia. So when you're telling your story, try and keep your paragraphs short and clean and precise. When you do a post, try and separate those things by pressing return so that it's kind of cleaner and clear, no more than 3 or 4 sentences together. Please go upstairs so I can hear, people can hear me. You want your photograph to be clear and bright, so you can see I cropped around. Hi. Did you bring me some tea? You brought me some tea. Tea. You have a teapot? Mmm. Tea. You have a kiss? Okay, go play. Go play. Upstairs, upstairs. Go, 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 go. It smells like poo-poo. Sorry for that. Okay, so the first sentence is going to be an attention grabber. So whatever it is, you can write that, go play, go upstairs. So, different words that will identify with people and appeal to their emotions. So things like, have you ever felt like a prisoner in your own body? Or have you ever felt uncomfortable in your own skin? Or are you giving the Mr. Bones tea? It's giving the skeleton tea. Have you ever, and it doesn't always have to be a question. It can be something like, I didn't get the results I wanted, but I got something. But like this particular post, I'm like, this is real life. And that's what I put as, I believe, the first sentence, something along those lines. Use feeling words, and include a call to action at the end of the post. So you have your attention-grabbing headline that's going to make them pay attention. You have your story in clear, concise words, not huge, long, run-on paragraph that people might just scroll past because they're like, I don't have time to read all that. But if it's just the first couple sentences, they might say, okay, I have time to read that. And if they read that, they're compelled to read the rest. So if you have a long post like that, you want to do that. Shh. Okay, go take your tea upstairs, please. And then you want to have, you want to have a clear, bright photo that's attracting their attention, and you want to speak to their feelings like we talked about before. So what things are they going to identify with? It's not what they see, it's how they felt. So it's not what you did, it's how you felt. And it's not, go upstairs, please. It's not what you accomplished results-wise. It's not the picture and saying you can have abs like that. It's the reality of the situation here. And I shared how I felt, that people sometimes think that they can't identify with how my abs are because they're not going to get those abs. And then I say, well, the reality is my abs aren't perfect. They just look good when I'm standing up. When I bend over, I have that extra skin and the sagging like everyone else has. And that was a tough picture for me to post. And usually that's a sign that it's a good one. Because, I feel like I never thought I would have any kind of abs. And if this is all I can get, that's fine. And the lines and the wrinkles and everything else are just signs of the children I had. It doesn't make my progress any less valuable. And I think a lot of women identified with that. So follow this formula if you're trying to share your story and you're trying to think. And it doesn't have to be your whole story in a novel. I said share a story, not a novel. So think of that 1 or 2 little feelings you had about a specific thing, like learning to eat right, or not struggling with food choices, or not feeling uncomfortable in pictures, or not feeling comfortable. One thing I struggled with was eating in front of people, because I felt like everyone was gonna, like if I went to a barbecue with my husband and I was the fat wife, everyone was gonna look at me like, oh, that's why she's fat. Look at, she's down in that bacon cheeseburger, even though everyone else is eating a bacon cheeseburger. I would feel like bad about that, and that's something to speak to. So maybe I'll have to post about that soon. So that's pretty much it. We're wrapping that up. And just remember that You are a few steps ahead of someone else, right? You are a few steps ahead of someone else on this journey. So if you know something about fitness and nutrition, even if you don't feel like you're an expert, which we're not, none of us are, or at least I'm not a nutritionist, but I do know what worked for me. So this is an example from a slide from a top coach in the network. And she thought she didn't have a huge weight loss story. So she thought she didn't have a story. So she said, I'm a normal girl with a normal job. I barely lost any weight and I have no huge financial distress. Because her coach was Lindsay Matway, and she was one of the top coaches in the company, and she had gone bankrupt to $400,000 in medical bills and a sick child and all this stuff, and had this huge dramatic story and then a great transformation with P90X. But she felt like she didn't have a story that could compare to that. So when you change your perspective and you look at this, she has a great story, and she found her story, and she said it took her 2 years to figure out how to tell her story in the right way. But she lost 20 pounds. She was skinny fat to fit. So even though she was skinny, she was able to actually tone up and create a new body for herself. She started sharing about growing up in an abusive household, and how it created behaviors in her that weren't healthy. And she started sharing about, she said, well, I didn't have some huge financial distress, but I stressed about money and my job and bills. And who doesn't? Who doesn't? I don't know one person who isn't 3 paychecks away from being homeless. So we all stress about these things. She shared about an ex-boyfriend and a toxic relationship that kind of took away her joy and her confidence. So that was something she could share about. She talked about loving animals and how she has pets because she doesn't have kids. So she wants to provide for her future family. That's one thing she's doing with Beachbody, but she's not working on providing for the kids she has now, and her struggles don't come that way. So she isn't speaking to my customer. She's speaking to her own customer, and I probably couldn't speak to hers. But she was able to take her story and so on, you can read on, into her own version of what makes her successful and what who she wants to speak to and what she wants to accomplish. So this is just a way to look at that and know that your story is your own. And when you think about what makes you the most scared and what are you the most ashamed of, and you connect those two things, that's where you're going to find the magic. What would you do for free in your life, right? What this I would do for free. I do all the time. Help people for nothing, whether I sell them something, whether they buy something or not. I would do it for free because I love it and I love to help people. And so that's my passion. And when I connect that with what scares me and what I'm afraid of and what's holding me back, that's where the magic happens. And that's where you really start to impact more lives. So you're not a victim. You're sharing hope. And that is those normal things create affection, and that's where people are going to follow you and really be intrigued by your story and what you have to say. So when you do follow that method, that jab, 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 right hook, and value, 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 and you give people a little advice and tips, and it can be a joke or a life hack trick or some positivity or something you got from your personal development, which you should be doing, or a recipe. Those things are valuable, and people will listen or try, and they'll know when they go to your page, they're going to see that kind of stuff. And then when you do that right hook post that says, come to my next challenge group, come check this out. I want to share with you a clean eating group for the week in Shakeology and show you how it's changed my life for the better, and I'd like you to try it. Then they think like this: well, she hasn't steered me wrong yet, right? Well, she seems to know what's going on. Look at her results. Or she's happy, or she's posting about this, or she's changed her life. And that's how they're going to be willing to give you a shot to help them with theirs, because they've fallen in love with your story. They've fallen in love with what you're doing. They trust you. They've gained value from you. And now when they're ready to take a chance and make a commitment to changing their life, they're going to think of you, and they're going to be willing to let you help them instead of someone else. So that's all I have today, guys. I hope this helped you break it down. I really think that if you follow these things, remember to share your own story your way. Remember to follow this jab, 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 right hook. Remember to identify who your real customer is and speak to them and your younger self And then brand yourself and make sure you keep posting about your 3 to 5 passions. I really hope you can hear me over my children and you got all of this. I have an appointment today at 1, so for a team call, I'll be sharing this, and I would love to do a live, but right now, this is how we're going to do it. So thanks for joining me. If you're watching this as someone thinking about being a coach, make sure and reach out to me, amandanoddings@me.com, and I can talk to you in more detail about it. Shh, please. amandanoddings@me.com, and email me if you're a coach on my team and you have any questions about this, or post it in our team page. I would love to hear more about it. And let's make the end of October and into November. Let's just rock it out. We have Hammer and Chisel coming out soon. I'm so pumped for this program. And there'll be a lot of customer leads generated from that program too. So you want to make sure you're hitting Success Club in November no matter what. So you're a part of that. So if you need help with that, reach out to me and let's just make it great, guys. I hope this helped you really think about how you're posting and just the basics of becoming a coach and sharing your story. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Have a great Halloween next week.